Hi, I'm Robbie Bullough, joined by inside linebacker coach Paul Tidwell. I've talked to all the new offensive coaches in the last couple weeks, and I just realized today you're now the senior member on the staff, are you not? You got here in 2000. Was anybody still here on the staff when you got here?
No, I am the senior and old and gray hair, and this will be my 13th season coming up. I got here the winter, January of 2001. So 2001 was my first season with Gary Croton and the new staff, and I'm all that's left.
Well, it's still good to have a familiar face around after having to meet all these new guys. Coach Mendenhall, the head coach, says he'll still call the plays. Nick Howell, defensive coordinator, said you're the one calling the plays here in the spring. How's that going for you?
It's too much pressure. I'm glad that Coach Mendenhall calls them during the game, but I'm enjoying it. It's helping me learn the defense faster and better. And Coach Howell he's very important to the secondary, so he would be calling them, but he stands in the back and watches the defense, watches secondary, and very detailed, and he runs them down too. He's young, and he can run those guys to the ball and push them, and so that's his role right now. Is he's behind the secondary making corrections, and we're all in this together. But Coach Mendenhall, he's the glue, holds us all together. He does make the calls in game situations, and it's a neat environment in our defensive staff room. It's hard to explain the chemistry that we have as coaches in there, and you got the two older guys like me and Coach Kafusi, and you got the two young guys, Coach Papinga and Coach Howell, and then you got kind of the middle guy, Coach Mendenhall. That is just a great camaraderie and a great chemistry with all of us in there, and it's fun.
Since you've been the one calling the plays during the spring, you probably know about this new offense that Robert and I has brought back from Arizona better than anybody else. What kind of wrinkles have you noticed in the offense that you've had to adjust to as a defense?
Well, it's a tough time for me to be thrown in to make the calls too, because if you stop and think just for a minute or pause to yell something at one of my inside linebackers to try and correct them, I mean, they're up and ready to run another play, and everyone's looking at me like, what's the call? And so I really have to stay focused. I have to get the calls out fast, and it's hard too, because they run their personnel grouping is different than most, where Yona Pritchard might be a fullback, he might be a tailback, he might be a tight end type person, and so to try to get the personnel as fast as they're going and certain calls to match that personnel, it's challenging.
It's making your guys work hard. They have to be quick, looking over to get what the play is and get in position, and so it'll be a nice thing to notice. Maybe last year would have been the better year for this to be put on you, because you had two veteran guys. You had Brandon Ogletree at the buck, Wona Kavenga at the mic, both seniors that are gone now. What are you looking out of your group of inside linebackers as you try and find two new guys for 2013?
Well, those two guys, as you mentioned them, were fantastic, and they were like coaches on the field. They were both very smart. They loved to play the game. They studied. They were watching film all the time. So yeah, it's hard to lose those two guys, but it's also exciting to have two new guys, and they both played some last year as backup roles. Also very studious as far as football and watching film, and Wani Unga, I'm just really excited about him. He is sharp. He's a great leader, and he's going to fill in just fine at that spot. Manoa is a redshirt sophomore. He's just getting just needs a lot of experience, but physical, big, strong, athletic. So I'm excited about those guys.
Brandon Ogletree was a very vocal leader. I mean, in spite of 65,000 screaming fans in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, sometimes you could hear him on the sideline. Who becomes your vocal leader to replace Brandon?
Well, it's going to be Wani. I think it's going to be Wani. And he's not as vocal, but he's more of a presence, kind of a quiet leader. But he talks. He'll speak up when he needs to. Mike Hagan, the secondary, good leader. Daniel Sorensen. I mean, we've got other vocal leaders, but for my guys, Wani's he's the best leader right now.
Okay, we'll go talk to Wani and Manoa in a second and hear what they have to say. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.